Hello, everybody. This is JCTV covering today's JV game. Jesuit taking on Sentry High School at Cronin Field. Sorry for the delay. Sentry has the ball at Jesuit's, or their own 45-yard line. My name is Ben Blessington alongside Danny Begingo.
Looks like there's a fumble on the field here. Possession switching hands to Jesuit. We have 10 minutes, 24 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's looking like Jesuit's going to get the ball here in good field position on Sentry's 45-yard line. Today's starting quarterback for Jesuit is number 18, MacGregor Potter, junior. Handoff goes nowhere. Mikey Alfieri on the carry. Moves himself back 3 yards.
Let's see how Coach Jerry Hahn can guide his Crusaders up the field here.
And a great run now by Mikey Alfieri down to the Sentry's 36-yard line. Mikey Alfieri, the junior running back. Now a jumbo set by Jesuit, 2 fullbacks and a running back. Interesting lineup. This is a handoff down to the 30-yard line. That was Mikey Alfieri on the Harry. Oh, excuse me, 37, Michael Jarrett. Coach Nick Davies told us that Michael Jarrett was a player to look out for coming off the bench for Mikey Alfieri. As you may notice, many players have pink socks or pink sleeves representing Breast Cancer Awareness Month this October. And again, Jesuit running out of that jumbo formation, and there's a flag on the play. Let's see what this is. Jesuit liking to run out of that jumbo formation. Not many wide receivers in that set, but just ground and pound running seems to be working for them.
And it is working. They're making steady progress up the field.
Yeah, and they're going to go right back to it. 2 fullbacks and a running back. It seems to be working against this stout Sentry defense. And another flag, back-to-back flags. That was a handoff to Mikey Alfieri that will be called back. That was encroachment on Sentry. 5-yard penalty. That will give the Jesuit Crusaders ball at Sentry's 29. Again, the jumbo formation. This is interesting to watch. They finally get a play with no flag, and that goes to Mikey Alfieri down to Sentry's 20-yard line. Just back-to-back handoffs to Mikey Alfieri and Michael Jarrett, just ground and pound down the way. I don't think there's been a pass yet by Jesuit.
Yeah, they're chewing up those yards, working it on the ground.
Yeah. Well, today's captains for Jesuit was number 77, Colin Wilson, number 45, Garrett Peterson, as Mikey Alfieri gets it and goes nowhere, maybe gets a yard. Number 37, Michael Jarrett was also a captain, and number 3, Mikey Alfieri were the captains for today. Interesting choices by Jerry Hahn, the head coach of Jesuit's JV football team. This is the first JV football game broadcasted by JCTV. Very excited for everybody here in the booth, first-timers. Hand off to Mikey Alfieri. He takes it, he has room, and that, did he cross? No, he's down at the 5.
Good for a Jesuit first down.
Great runs by Mikey Alfieri.
Oh,
He's a guy.
He's getting some excellent blocking from the big guys up front.
Coming into this game, he was definitely one of the guys I was looking out for. Just a guy all around, great running back, and excited to watch him play. First and goal for the Crusaders at the 5-yard line. Quarterback MacGregor Potter Hands off to Mikey Alfieri, and he's in. Touchdown, Crusaders. Oh, excuse me, that was Michael Jarrett. Touchdown, Crusaders. And that will give him the 6-0 lead pending extra point. Danny, what do you think about that run right there by Jarrett?
Oh, that was something. He really broke through the defense there and got the points.
Yeah, I mean, that was great blocking on the right side of the offensive line there. Right guard and right tackle. Yeah.
Let's see if they can capitalize with the point after.
Ooh. I don't think he got it. No
Sentry
good.
got a hand on that one.
That was blocked, and that might have just given Sentry some momentum. I mean, if I'm Sentry's head coach here, I'm thinking, you know what? You know, we gave up the touchdown off a turnover, but you blocked the extra point, you get some momentum. Yeah, I would not be too upset about that. As each team is preparing for the kickoff. Well, we might as well give you the starting lineups today. We got number 3, Mikey Alfieri, and Jarrett. Oh, my bad. Michael Jarrett at running back. Those are the 2 running backs for today. Starting quarterback, McGregor Potter. And we have wide receiver, Nolan Todd. Another wide receiver, Jared Dahl and Joel Dahl. And offensive lineman, Trevor Pixley, Connor Thornston, Colin Wilson, Kellen Carney Fenton. You know, just some good guys to hold out that offensive line.
Receiving deep for Sentry is number
Patty Clare with the kickoff, number 8.
and number 24, Brennan Howell.
Squibbed kick. And Sentry will receive it. And he takes it, and he will be brought down by a group of Jesuit defenders at the 27-yard line.
Number 84, Sean Riddle on the return. Not getting too far on that one.
And the Jesuit
Yeah.
tackle by number
But,
4,
however, it does give him
Nolan
a
Todd.
decent field position, not too bad. As Jesuit defense will come trotting onto the field. Last possession with the fumble.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars on their own 28-yard line.
Let's see how quarterback Kyle Chimienti can work the offense for Sentry here.
It's a great last name. Sentry doing the opposite of what Jesuit does. Come out in the pistol and looking to spread the ball deep. He's looking, rolls out to his right, throws to number 24, and gets around 8 or so yards. That will put him at a 2nd and 2.
Jaguar pass received
Chimienti put that on the money.
Yeah, Sean Riddle with the catch. Great play by
Jesuit
great
tackle
play by
number-
Sentry's quarterback.
Number 26, John Walker. 2nd and 3 for the Jaguars.
Excuse me, 2nd and 3.
On the 34-yard line.
And again, they're going to come out and try to spread this football. They might do a shotgun run as they're coming out in the pistol again. 2 different offensive play styles. This time it's a handoff, and looks like he got the first. Let's see what the ref gives him. They might bring out these chains.
44,
No.
Dylan Hansen.
Yeah, they're going to bring out the chains. Oh, no.
Now they're
They're
moving
going to
those
give
up.
him. Yeah,
That
they're
was
going to give him the 1st and
down
10.
Joe Dahl.
Solid run.
And number 36, Donnie McMahon. 1st and 10 Jaguars.
Starting running back Brennan Howell with those solid runs out of the pistol. Again, handoff to Howell, and he will go nowhere. Tackled in the backfield. Great play by Jesuit.
4, Ty Simcoe.
Ty Cinco with the handoff. Excuse me, not Brennan Howell. Mac Howard with the tackle. 2nd and 10 for Sentry Jaguars. Jesuit coming off a disappointing 17-43 loss at Westview. That'll put them at 2-2-1, a tie against Sheldon. An odd play. This is an important game for Jesuit season to get them into the positive record, as quarterback will throw and get nowhere. Incomplete pass.
Pass is intended for number 86.
Yeah, you really see the height of Kyle Chimienti, the 6'4" sophomore, being able to see all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's just looking over those offensive linemen and defensive linemen, looking over the trenches and just has clear vision, but to Jesuit's credit, their secondary is holding up well against a spread offense. As I said earlier, these are two different styles of offense. Jesuit's a ground and pound type of team, and Sentry's a team that's going to try to air it out, but not necessarily. Maybe they just have a spread formation and, you know, a fast-paced offense as Sentry's quarterback. Oh, great tackle by Jesuit. Number 4, Nolan Todd. Also doubles as a wide receiver with the great tackle. And that will force a 4th down, and we'll be punting. Back to receive is Mikey Alfieri.
It'll be 4th and 10 for the Jaguars.
Deep punt to Mikey Alfieri. Fielded well at the 40. 35, nice cutback, and he's going to be brought down. Trips up on his own feet at the 47-yard line. So returning Jesuit's going to get the ball in great field position again. Similar to the position to what they got in the turnover. So a short punt gives Jesuit great field position.
Yeah, Sentry's number 88, Joel Semmingson. Don't think he got all of that one on the kick.
Yeah, now it's going to give Jesuit's offense, ground and pound offense, out of this jumbo set, some more time to run down the field and get another touchdown. Hand off to number 3, Mikey Alfieri, and he's brought down at around Sentry's 48-yard line.
Really seeing that smash mouth football from Jesuit in this first quarter. They haven't thrown the ball once.
Yeah. 5:05 now left in the first. 6-0 Jesuit, as it is 2nd and 4 for McGregor Potter, but he hasn't got much of a chance to show off his arm. Many handoffs to Mikey Alfieri and Michael Jarrett. Or excuse me. Oh. Mikey Alfieri with the handoff. Goes nowhere. 3rd down and 4 for Jesuit. I'm wondering if we'll see McGregor's Potter's first pass, but they come out in that jumbo formation again.
I wouldn't count on it. Coach Hahn seems set to run these boys down.
Yeah, Sentry's run defense is. Oh, as Mikey Alfieri gets it and has some open space down to the 39-yard line. Quarterback McGregor Potter took a shot. Sentry's defense was for sure thinking that they were going to pass the ball, but as a great point by Danny, Coach Hahn is just focused on running the football, and why not? I mean, it's working. Sentry's defense has not looked good against the run right now. I mean, you might be scared of these Sentry DBs. Some big football players out there. Now Michael Jarrett gets it, and he breaks a tackle, bounces, and will probably get around to the 34-yard line. Michael Jarrett, number 37. A great 1-2 punch, Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri. Jarrett, more of a speed type of back, or a power type of back, and Mikey Alfieri is the speed. A guy that can just take it 70 yards. I mean, he's explosive, and that's why they have him returning kicks.
Certainly this run offense is a good idea against the undersized Sentry defense. Just looking on the field, you can see they're about 3 or 4 inches shorter than the Jesuit people across from them.
That's a great point. Michael Jarrett now takes the handoff, and he takes it down to the 14-yard line. Jesuit, I think, has run out of the same formation almost every single play of the game, which is interesting. You'd think Coach Hahn might want to mix it up a little, but, you know, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's working for them right now.
On the Jaguar 23-yard line.
Out of that formation again. And Sentry's just putting everybody in the box. They have about 9 guys in the box, hand off to Mikey Alfieri, and he'll lose a yard. But they're just putting 10 guys in the box, and they still can't stop the run. I mean, they stopped it there, but, you know, Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri have been able to break out, you know, 3-4 yard runs, but then they can get, you know, 10, 12 yard runs. This defense cannot stop them no matter how many guys they put in the box. They know Jesuit's going to run it every single play, yet they still can't stop it. Oh, handoff to Mikey Alfieri, and that will set up a 3rd down and around 10.
Number 14, J.J. Perez on the tackle for Sentry.
It'll be 39 for the Crusaders.
3rd and 9, excuse me.
The Jaguar 22-yard line.
If I'm Coach Hahn right now, I'd consider passing this football. They're still going to come out in that 4-run formation, but oh, a little different. No, not the same. Except they're going to put somebody in motion, and that's going to flag on the play.
Looks like some more encroachment on Sentry. That'll be 5 yards for Jesuit.
And that'll set up a 3rd and 4, and now they can go back to their run offense. I mean, it looked like they were going to change the possession. The formation. Number 45 came in motion. It looked like they might have been able to throw. They're going to come in motion again. They're going to still hand it off to Mikey Alfieri. He's going to get the outside, and he got it down to the 9-yard line.
Hand off to number 3, Mikey Alfieri.
Oh, and Sentry says they have it. They say they forced a fumble. The refs having none of it. Jesuit will retain possession around the 6-yard line. Interesting to see when we will get Jesuit's first pass, as there's 1 minute and 34 seconds left in the half. The first quarter. First and goal for Jesuit.
It does look like Coach Hahn will have to be forced into it with a 3rd and long situation here.
A handoff to Michael Jarrett, and Jesuit says they got a touchdown.
And the referees agree.
Touchdown Crusaders. Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri both have touchdowns.
Touchdown Jesuit.
It's looking good for Jesuit so far.
Michael Jarrett on that.
Sentry's got to figure out a way to stop them if they want to get back in this football game. And interesting to see if they're going to go for 2, and they will. Oh, no. Handoff. Looking like it's going to be a handoff. It isn't. First pass of the game. 2-point conversion is good.
And the 2-point conversion is good.
Looks like that threw the Sentry defense off guard, switching things up.
Yeah, I mean, you expect on his 2-yard line, Jesuit would go right back to running it.
24. Correction number 24. Carney Fenton.
Jesuit stirring things up. And that will give them the 14-0 lead against Sentry. Sentry's done nothing on offense. A fumble and a punt have been their 2 possessions, and on defense, they can't stop a nosebleed right now. Danny, what would be some things you'd advise Sentry to do to try to stop this Jesuit offense? I mean, Jesuit has been running, so I guess you'd say put every guy in the box, but, I mean, that seems to not be working.
Yeah, you'd normally say that they just need to plug up those holes that the Jesuit running backs are finding their way through, but it just seems like they're being outgunned and out-muscled at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Jesuit is just stronger and bigger than Sentry right now, as Patty Clare, number 8 kicker, junior, will take this kickoff.
Number 8, Patty Clare.
Interesting to see if they'll do a squib again. No, he's going to kick it deep. On the return.
Number 14, J.J. Perez.
J.J. Perez on the carry, and he'll get down to the 26-yard line. So Sentry's offense has got to be led down a long ways to that end zone. I think the difference so far in this game has not been, I mean, yes, it's been Jesuit's ability to run the ball and play good defense, but it's been their field position right now. That's what I would point out right now. Jesuit at both times has gotten it around 45 50-yard line, and that's just giving them a short field. And meanwhile, Sentry's starting back at their own 25. That's giving them a much longer field. That might be giving Jesuit the advantage right now.
That's an excellent point, Ben. That really motivates you, seeing those uprights, seeing the end zone right in sight.
As quarterback will throw and miss. Incomplete pass there. Thrown by Kyle Chimienti. Chimienti. It's a mouthful. Chimienti.
Sounds like a type of spaghetti.
Well, he's the sophomore, 6'4", huge guy. Looks like an NFL quarterback. I mean, this guy's big, but he's not playing like it right now. Interesting to see if they'll take Jesuits, advice, I guess, and run the football. They like to run out of this pistol formation. 3 receivers to the right and 1 receiver to the left. Looking deep. Oh, no, he's going to run it, and he's going to be brought down by the sack. 2 players in on that for Jesuit. Number 37, it looks like. Yeah, number 37, Michael Jarrett was in on that, but 49, Max Howard with the original push. Meanwhile, 50 seconds left in the first quarter. 3rd and 10 on their own 26. This is a huge play for Sentry right now. You got to get something going. And they will spread it out again. I would not expect a run here. Jesuit looks like they're playing cover 2 defense. Maybe cover 1. Nope, cover 2 defense for Jesuit. And they're going to hand it off. Unlike I thought they wouldn't. They'll get the edge, but they won't go anywhere. That's about a 3-yard gain, and that should bring us to the end of the first quarter.
Disappointing from Sentry.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that Jesuit controlled this entire first quarter. As we will come to an end here, about 5 seconds remaining. Be interesting to see if they'll get a punt off. But Sentry, you got to be thinking, as the horn goes off, if I'm Sentry right now, you got to be thinking, you're only down 14. I know that seems like a lot, but you score a touchdown, you're right back in this game. I mean,
oh, certainly. They're not out of it yet.
They need to stop, though.
They need to get something going. They've not been able to build up much momentum on offense today.
Maybe a turnover? A turnover could help them tremendously, or just a stop. I mean, let's not get too fancy. Just a stop or a turnover can really energize a team and help defense turn into offense. Sometimes your best offense can be your defense, and right now their defense has not helped them out at all. I mean,
on point as usual, Ben.
As this is JCTV, first JV game as varsity is on the road. We figured we'd show a JV game at Cronin Field, sunny skies.
Some beautiful weather here at Cronin Field.
But, that's not always a good thing. I mean, players can't overheat. It's pretty humid out here.
Hey, you noticed the ball slip out of Sentry quarterback Kyle Chimiente's hands at one point.
Struggling with the name.
Oh, sure am.
Yeah, I mean, but you wouldn't think they would. You'd think it'd be, but maybe it's just sweat or just he's having a hard time getting a grip on the ball. As they will kick it deep to Mikey Alfieri. Let's see if he can bounce back from his poor punt at the beginning. Gonna rotate. Oh, another poor punt. Now we'll give Jesuit the ball at the 50 again. Look at that. The field position point he made earlier, it gives him the ball right back at the 50. And as you pointed out, when you can see those uprights only 50 yards away instead of 75, 80 yards away, that really motivates your team to say, we're only that far away. We can run the ball, we can pass the ball, but, we're at least in their territory, and I think that really helps Jesuit's offense right now.
Yeah, this kicker, Joel Semmington from Sentry, really letting his team down there.
Yeah,
he's got to get it more than those 20 to 30-yard punts that he's been kicking today.
He's definitely struggling. Jesuit comes out in the jumbo formation again. And a handoff to Mikey Alfieri, and he'll take it. 45-40, has a hole. There he goes. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He's gone. Touchdown, Crusaders. Mikey Alfieri. Incredible run by Mikey Alfieri. Great blocking by Jesuit's left guard and left tackle. And interesting to see freshman number 64, Travis. Where's his last name go? Well, he's the only freshman on JV. And he's playing well right now.
The extra point, number 8.
Great run by Mikey Alfieri, 50 yards.
And the kick is good.
He slammed the point after right through the uprights. That looked confident there.
Interesting, Chavis is not on our cheat sheet. Well, I knew him from class, and I just didn't know his last name. But he does look like a football player. The only freshman on JV. I mean, he is huge. He's probably about 6'2", just big, long blonde hair. He's a vegetarian. Interesting fact. I learned that about him yesterday.
We really get you the inside knowledge on these players here at JCTV.
JCTV, providing info on football players' diets. As Sentry is regrouping here. You know, down 21-0, Sentry's got to be looking, just getting the board. I mean, whether it's a field goal or touchdown, once you get in the board, I feel like that can break the dam for them. Because I feel like they haven't moved the ball well, but I feel if they get into the end zone, or at least just a field goal, that might break the dam for them to get into the end zone more and lead to some stops. They have shown no signs of stopping Jesuit's run offense right now. They've only passed once, and that was on a conversion.
Sure, they need to plug that hole on defense and score some points, because if they go into halftime without any points, it's not looking good for them.
On the other side of things, Jesuit's got to be happy. I mean, with their play so far, I don't think there's anything Coach Jerry Hound can complain about. I mean, as Patty Clear will take the kickoff, a deep kick down to the 10-yard line. Number 20 will receive it. He's at the 10, 15, and he's going to be brought down at around the 25.
That is Cameron Nguyen.
Cameron Nguyen. I mean, he had before JCTV went live, some camera malfunctions. He had a great run, about a 15-yard run, and I think that was Sentry's longest play of the game, and we didn't bring it to you. But, I mean, it was by Cameron Nguyen, and, maybe just go back to it. They've been trying to pass the ball and spread the ball out of the pistol, but if I'm them, just I formation under center, hand it off to Nguyen, and let him do that. Because that's what Jesuit's doing. They're not doing I formation, but they're going jumbo set, Mikey Alfieri, Michael Jarrett, And right there, that just showed Jesuit's touchdown. That's Mikey Alfieri's type of style. He's similar to Chris Johnson in the NFL, 2 yards, 4 yards, 37 yards. I mean, he's an explosive guy. You think you have him plugged up, and then third down, 3rd and 17 comes, and he can run a 60-yard run on you.
It's a valuable asset for an offense to have.
Indeed, and Michael Jarrett's more that workhorse back that can just come in off the bench and get some solid 5-yard runs for you. As Sentry will take it to the 30-yard line, 2nd and 9.
You saw Sentry's Cameron Nguyen on the return, certainly playing larger than his size. The sophomore coming in at only 5'4".
I'm almost taller than him. No, I'm just kidding. Kyle Chimienti looking on the slant, and an incompletion. Looked like Jesuit might have been able to make that play, but a great play by number 24, corner Kellen Carney-Fenton.
Nearly picked off there. Chimienti is going to have to work the Jesuit defense a little more than that.
Jesuit's corners have been playing very strong today. I'd love to see him air it out deep against them and just test these Jesuit corners. I mean, they're playing well, as Kyle Chimienti looks like he's limping a little bit, but he seems he's going to play.
They've got 3rd and 9. They're down 21. A deep ball wouldn't. Why not?
Yeah, take a shot. It means you have nothing to lose. As he has 3 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right, out of the pistol formation. 24 comes in motion. They're going to hand it off, and Jesuit read that like a book. In the backfield, a 6-yard loss, and Chimienti is limping off the field. Looks like he might have hurt an ankle or interesting to see that storyline develop.
It's all falling apart now for Sentry.
Yeah, but I mean, you get a turnover, you get something can spark this. I mean, it's not over yet. If they do go into halftime with no points, that'd be interesting to see how they come out. Maybe a quarterback change.
Kicker Joel Semmingson for Sentry, lining up to take the kick.
It is listed that they do not have a backup quarterback, but, I mean, they certainly do. He just plays a different position. We'll get you more info on who that is as, again, Jesuit gets the ball at the 50-yard line. I mean, 50-yard line, 45-yard line. I mean, they're getting the ball in great field position, always in Sentry's territory. It'd be interesting to see Danny. Yes, we're new. Oh, actually, excuse me, the 49-yard line. You know, just interesting to see how they come out. I mean, of course they're going to still run this football, but Mikey Alfieri, you know, see who gets the ball. I'd love to see Coach Hahn put both of them in the backfield as it goes to Mikey Alfieri. Again, spins out of that one and gets around 7 yards.
Boy, that Sentry defense will have nightmares tonight of Mikey Alfieri running down their throats. He's really been working them.
He's been very explosive. But I'd love to see a formation where it's, you know, 2 back sets, and I think that would really win this game for Jesuit. I mean, not that they're struggling right now, but Sentry wouldn't know who to guard. I mean, you can say, I mean, put them all in the box, but if you put 2 running backs out there, they could be explosive. One goes one way, the other goes the other way.
True. So we see Coach Hahn talking to his players. He doesn't really seem like the type to experiment too much, though.
Good point. I mean, one formation the entire game, and we're in the second quarter with 9:45. Has a timeout by Sentry.
A cool breeze now coming on this warm Thursday afternoon.
I think many Jesuit and Sentry players will appreciate that. If you look at the sidelines, just looking at the cameras, you can see how much bigger Jesuit's team is. I mean, Jesuit probably has about 10, maybe 15 more players than them. Jesuit's sideline, Sentry's sideline is much smaller than Jesuit's.
And not just in numbers, but in size, too. Reading down the sheet, you see Sentry players that are 5'5", 5'4", 5'6", and the Jesuit lineup is teaming with 6-footers. Lots of big guys who are really pushing the ball forward here.
However, there have been many injuries across the board for Sentry right now, so they're playing hurt.
Jesuit versus Westview's soccer game, junior varsity.
As Sentry and Jesuit will come back trotting down the field. Michael Jarrett will be the running back. If I was a wide receiver on Jesuit, I'd be very frustrated I haven't played second quarter. I mean, it's all offensive linemen, fullbacks, and running backs as the handoff goes to Michael Jarrett, and he'll break a tackle. Still going down to the 37-yard line. I mean, it's just been 7 offensive linemen, 2 fullbacks, a quarterback, and a running back. I mean, it's a very simple formation, but you know, as you see there, it's working.
You can't say it's not working. True, as he racks up 13 yards on the carry.
On the Jaguar 37-yard line.
We'll go back to that formation as there's 9:36 left in the half. Hand off to Michael Jarrett, and he'll break a tackle. There he goes, down to the 27-yard line. That 1-2 punch of Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri is really explosive.
This Sentry defense just doesn't have any answers at this point.
I mean, yeah, their run defense is very poor. I mean, they're supposedly have a great pass defense, but Jesuits just exploiting their run defense. They're like, why pass when this is working? It'd be interesting to see if Sentry starts to clog those holes up as the handoff goes to Mikey Alfieri. There he goes, 20 down to the 14-yard line. It'd be interesting to see if Sentry starts to plug up these holes, that if Coach Hahn will air it out. I mean, I think if something's not working, he'll change something up. But as you see there, back-to-back solid 15, 17-yard runs. Give them the ball in the red zone. As his 1st and 10 at Sentry's 14-yard line. Hand off to Mikey Alfieri, goes down to the 4, and there's a late penalty flag.
Flag on the play.
As the refs will have a meeting to decide what it is and who it's on.
Jared Corzo. And the penalty is face masking against Sentry.
Face mask against Sentry. And that should give Jesuit the ball half the distance of the goal.
That's the third penalty on this Sentry defense. Have to be a little more disciplined out there.
I'll give Jesuit the ball at around the 2-yard line. Looking to go up 28-0. Who would have predicted this shootout? I mean, clearly Jesuit is the better team coming in right now, but, you know, I mean, I would not have predicted this. I would have predicted a closer game. Handoff to Mikey Alfieri, and he'll score another touchdown. Touchdown, Crusaders.
Touchdown, Jesuit.
It's becoming routine for Alfieri.
Touchdown, Jesuit.
Yes, the 50-yarder and then the 2.5-yarder. I assume he has 3.
That is Mikey Alfieri's third touchdown.
And then, yes, and then Michael
And
Jarrett
Michael
had
Jarrett
the other one.
with the other one.
Patty Clare will attempt the extra point. He missed one earlier today, but so far he's had a good game. Kickoffs and doing the opposite of what Sentry's kicker's done is pinning Sentry deep in their own territory.
Well done on the kick from Patty Clare. Blasts it halfway to Ernesto's restaurant here.
Yes, Ernesto's. Should get a sponsorship. They get a lot more camera time.
True, true, true. Big plate of spaghetti for our commentators here, and we might be talking about them a little bit more.
Ernesto's Italian restaurant, right behind Jesuit's Cronin Field scoreboard. As Jesuit has no school tomorrow, so this is the weekend for Jesuit. So, you know, JV players don't get that opportunity too many times. I mean, they get it a couple times in the season, but I feel like they play better in those situations, not worrying about, you know, homework or school the next day. I think they play more relaxed. And when they play more relaxed, they play better. As you see here, just they're relaxed, they're having fun, and Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri are just taking the load. I mean,
very true. Alfieri's definitely enjoying his football this afternoon.
I think he's running towards the weekend.
Aren't we all?
Yes, commentating towards the weekend. Patty Clare will kick it off as Sentry's just coming to the field.
Kicking off for Jesuit, number 8, Patty Clare.
It'd be interesting to see if the Sentry Jaguars can get anything going. I mean, right now I think you're playing just to get a couple touchdowns. If you can get a touchdown to start right here. Oh, and there's a muff punt. And
number 24, Brendan Howell, can't quite snag that.
I thought he touched it. That'd be interesting to see. I thought if he touched it, Jesuit could have gone and picked that up.
Refs rule it a touchback.
Yeah, refs ruled he didn't touch it.
Perhaps having some mercy on these Jaguars.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately for Sentry, they did start with the ball, so Jesuit will get the ball at halftime. So you have to score before half to at least have a shot. I mean, it's not looking pretty. They're looking like my Jets right now. As, of course, they lost 31-0 to San Diego.
Yeah.
It's not a pretty game. As Sentry's quarterback will take it, handoff to number 44. Oh, excuse me, 14. And he'll take it, a great run. So now they're moving the ball down to the 30-yard line.
Getting 8 or 9 yards on the sweep. That's well done from Sentry.
Yeah, I think they're moving away from their spread, aired out type of offense. Kyle Chimienti's really just turning off and handing it out to J.J. Perez and just lots of other running backs. Cameron Nguyen is another guy they look forward to. I mean, just keep doing what's working. I mean, if I'm done, I hand it right back off to Nguyen or even Perez.
Certainly quarterback Chimienti and these Jaguars have been playing the more entertaining brand of football.
Certainly, I mean, everybody wants to see a team, air it out, play pistol, read options and stuff. And Jesuits, football in the 60s, I mean, they're two fullbacks. I mean, you don't see that in today's games, high school, college, or the NFL. They're coming out and running it with two fullbacks, I mean, so that's interesting. And a lot of teams now don't even have a fullback. I mean, that's interesting that they run a two fullback set.
Yeah, Coach Jerry Hahn, really old-fashioned. Probably thinks the pass is a trick play or something. He's not done it all day.
I mean, but 60s football is beating 2010 football. Interesting as there's 7:32 left in the half. A handoff on the play. And there's a fumble.
Fumble on the play.
Jesuit comes up with the ball. But Sentry retains possession. There it says knee was down.
Ball's recovered by
3rd and
Sentry.
6 here. Crucial possession for these Jaguars.
3rd and 9.
And 9, excuse me. Lost some yardage on the fumble there.
3rd and 9 for Kyle Chimienti. If I'm Sentry, I might consider a quarterback change. Oh, excuse me, this is not Chimienti. This is a backup quarterback. It looks like Chimienti might have gone out. It's Brennan Howell threw that ball.
The pass intended.
Chimienti is being looked at for his ankle.
Farhad Hyder, incomplete.
Interesting to see if it was a coach's decision or
4th and 9 for the Jaguars.
an injury, because he did limp off that one possession. Brennan Howell with that throw there, almost completed, but couldn't get it. As they're out to punt again, deep to Mikey Alfieri. Another short punt will give Jesuit great field position as Mikey Alfieri will field this. At the 45, he's going to go back. At the 50, the 45-40, 35-30 at the right sideline. Cuts it back. There he goes. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Crusaders. What an excellent return by Mikey Alfieri. His 4th touchdown of the game. That awesome cutback.
Flying down the sideline. That is something.
Coach Hahn had his hands on his head when he went back 5 yards, but he took it down the sideline. I mean, I didn't think he was going to get 10 yards on that play. I mean, he just kept going on the sideline.
Oh, yes. You could see Coach Jerry Hahn shaking his head no when he took a couple steps backward to avoid the Sentry defenders, but worked out for him.
Yeah, he proved him wrong. Sentry's just got to push him out of bounds. I mean, they're playing with a little less heart because now they're down 35-0, and I mean, you can't blame them. It's a great should-be win for Jesuit that will put them, if they win this game, at a 3-2-1.
Kick is up, and the kick is good.
Interesting, huge confidence booster. You know, on Jesuit side of things, you look at these games right now, 35-0, 6 minutes left in the half. I mean, you're like, what can't we do? Because I can easily see Jesuit getting a possession and scoring another touchdown off a long Mikey Alfieri run. And if that gets it to 42, then you could see, I mean, they're like, we can get 80 points. I mean, like, when does it stop? I mean, Jesuit is just playing with the ferocious running attitude, and they've been playing amazing. These long runs have really boosted them.
Yeah, these Crusaders firmly in control of the game.
It'll be interesting to see if any of the players that don't often play get a chance in this game. I mean, you're up 35-0. Why not? Why not throw some guys in there and see who could be some good guys next year? And you know Coach Potter's got to be watching this game and be like, he's got to be saying to himself, Mikey Alfieri.
Of course.
I mean, of course, Mikey Alfieri is only a junior, so next year he could be a senior and possibly go up to varsity for Coach Potter. And, based on this game, you'd think he was on varsity. I mean, he's clearly looked like a man amongst boys today. Even just that punt return, his 50-yard run. I mean, that punt return, he should have been down at the 40. I mean, but they couldn't get him down, and he took it and broke some tackles. As a good kickoff by Patty Clare. Bounces, and another
Perez
fumble.
Having trouble with the ball.
Oh, but he'll take it, and there he goes, 25-30. Breaks another tackle. There he goes, 35-40. Longest play for Sentry today. 45-yard line. Maybe this could spark a Sentry, a little run, maybe a little something. I mean, certainly a comeback looks out of reach, but you never
Excellent
know.
work from Sentry kick returner J.J. Perez after having some trouble getting the ball initially.
Jesuit players injured on the play.
Looks like number 36, Donnie McMahon.
But he gets up, and it looks like he's going to be able to walk off under his own power. Just somebody might have just stepped on his ankle.
Number 36.
longest play for Sentry. And the whole thing about field position, if you notice, Jesuit's gotten the ball at the 50 every couple of plays. Now Sentry's getting a chance. You know, this would be the drive I'd predict Sentry's going to go down and score. As quarterback, Kyle Chimienti is still on the sideline, warming up, throwing a ball. It'll be interesting to see who is at quarterback. It is Brennan Howell. He is normally a running back and a linebacker. Interesting to see a linebacker playing quarterback, but I don't think he's known for his linebacking skills. As a handoff goes, and there goes Sentry. Now they're a little sparked. See, I mean, the team has been sluggish so far. That would be the word I'd describe it on offense, but, you know,
Absolutely.
took them to get down 35-0.
They've lacked that sharpness. The balls haven't been as
slick.
Exactly.
The quarterback throwing the ball's just been off, and now, you know, you get down to the 50 and you see that goalpost. I mean, you start to want it more. As you know, of course, Jesuit are big supporters of breast cancer awareness. You know, raising awareness for a very deadly disease, wearing pink socks, pink shirts, anything to raise awareness. As a handoff goes to number 20, down to the 37-yard line.
Handoff to number 20, Cameron Gwynn.
Jaguars working their way a little closer to field goal range here. Getting some points on the board any way they can would be good at this point.
As there's 5:14 left in the half.
For the Jaguars on the Jesuit 42-yard line.
We continue to see Sentry starting quarterback Kyle Chimienti on the sideline.
He's testing out that ankle. I don't think that was a coach's decision. I think it might have been his ankle injury because he looked very gimpy coming off that field. Brendan Howell hand it off and take it. There goes number 14, J.J. Perez, down to the 41-yard line.
14, J.J. Perez.
That was all lateral movement. Could not get up the field as much as he would have liked.
It's a great point, Danny.
Jack Block and number 39, Jared Dahl. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Jaguars.
Ooh. Sentry having some trouble holding on to the snap. That'll be a wasted down that they won't like.
Number 24, Brennan Howell.
Back to 3rd and 13 here.
Here at JCTV, many folks are covering this year's first, or actually in all this year's ever first JV football game. My name is Ben Blessington and Danny Begingo. John Keller down on the sideline filming, and Joanna Parker as a cameraman up here in the booth, and Alex Schuler,
Camera woman, actually.
Producing. As a pitch, and the ball goes down. He's down at the 45.
Pitch to number 20, Cameron Gwynn. Taken down by number 26, Johnny Walker.
That'll set up a 4th and 10. If I'm Sentry, I go for it.
For the Jaguars.
You have nothing to lose. I mean, it's not. I mean, I think this is a situation, and no matter what, you'd consider going for it, because it's like you punt it and you give Jesuit the ball in horrible field position. But to do what? Get the ball back? You have the ball now, and they're going to go down and try to score. 4th and 10. Play action. Oh, and he fumbled the punt. Fumbled the snap.
That is twice in that drive that they weren't able to handle the snap well.
Yeah, they're just not grabbing the ball well, throwing the ball well. It's just butterfingers right now for Sentry. We'll see if a halftime break can help them, as there's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the half. 35-0. Jesuit. As Jesuit will take over at around the 45-yard line, their own. in a different formation. Now they finally have some wide receivers. But they're still going to hand it off. And that is stopped. I mean, I think they liked their 2 fullback set. It was productive blocking. Finally, some receivers are playing, and I think Coach Hahn is thinking, you know, if there was still a close game, I think he'd still be running that two fullback set. But, you know, why not try some new formations? I mean, I think you're not going to win every game if you run the same formations. Teams are going to learn how to stop it.
True. When you build up leads like this, it's a good time to really work out the kinks in your offense and experiment a little bit.
Hand off to Mikey Alfieri, and he'll take it. 50, breaks another tackle, and he'll get down to the 47-yard line. Yeah, I mean, you got to have some, you know, some variety in your offense. I think that'd be something Coach Hahn wants to work on, and why not? You know, you get the best practice in game, and they should use it right now. This is a great time. I mean, you know, you don't want to treat it like a practice, but at the same time, 35-0.
35-0, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity as they're going to continue with this interesting set with number 13 and I can't get a read on that number. The wide receivers that goes to Mikey Alfieri, goes down to the 30-yard line. Well, number 30, Tanner Rockos, and then was the wide receiver on that play.
Taken down by number
Crusaders could get some points on the board here at the end of this half, and they'll be receiving the kickoff at the start of the second.
Yes, and number 15, Sam Denny, were the 2 wide receivers on that play. Yeah, if they score here, they get the ball right back. I mean, 42, then 49. I mean, I don't think this offense can be stopped. I mean, Sentry hasn't proved it. As now number 9, Matthew Kilpatrick, as the handoff goes to Michael Jarrett. Breaks a tackle. I mean, I really like this 1-2 punch for Jesuit. I mean, I love the speed by Mikey Alfieri, and at the same time, when he gets tired, or when you just want to bring in a guy that can get in a 4th and goal situations, or just even guy, you know, he can get 10 yards and he can break one out. I mean,
Sentry having trouble stopping either at this point.
I mean, even just anybody as a handoff goes back to Jarrett and he spin moves. I mean, even that, he gets a solid 5 yards every play, and Mikey Alfieri gets, you know, that, and then he can get, you know, 2 yards, Sentry's confident, and then he gets 37 yards. I mean, this is great. It's similar.
It's the first down here, just outside the red zone.
It's similar to what the 2007 Giants, New York Giants, has. Does anybody remember who they had? They had Tiki Barber and Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs was the big bull horse, you know, he just bulldog, you know, you just take it down, get solid 10 yards, and I think that's who I would compare, you know, Mike, you know, that's who I compare him to, because, I mean, Michael Jarrett, you know, he's just a guy who can just take it, and then Mikey Alfieri would, of course, be Tiki Barber.
Yeah, those Giants were something else in 2007.
Well, in the Super Bowl, as my producer is shaking his head. Oh, why would you bring up the Giants? Trying to make some NFL comparisons here. You know, of course, if Mikey Alfieri hears this broadcast, you know, he's got to like it, you know. And he's earned this praise right now. He's playing like a beast right now. As it's interesting to see a timeout. Quarterback McGregor Potter, I mean, he's had a quiet day, but he hasn't been given much of a chance to do much. I mean, he's had a good game. As now number 26, John Walker, who's also a DB. He's known for his defensive back, but he's going to go back at running back. You know, Mikey Alfieri, Michael Jarrett, and now and now John Walker. Takes it, and he gets a great play. Look at this. They can just run the ball on anybody.
Getting just outside the 10-yard line.
Of course, John is decked out in pink socks and pink sleeves, pink gloves. Second and 1 now with 36 seconds and running.
Potter trying to hurry up that offense.
Yeah, there's 30 seconds on the 12.
Get some points on the board before halftime.
All right, here we go. McGregor Potter under center is going to hand it right back off to number 26, John Walker, and he's going to go nowhere, and I'd use a timeout if I was Hahn. You can probably run, you know, it's 3rd and 1. If you get the first down, well, he's not calling a timeout. He's letting this ball roll all the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are they going to call timeout and kick a field goal? No, they're going to let Sentry off the hook and just end of the first half, 35-0.
Stunning performance from these Crusaders.
Mikey Alfieri would be the player of the game, undoubtedly. And
putting in 4 touchdowns for the Crusaders.
Captain Mikey Alfieri with 4 touchdowns. And 1 touchdown for Michael Jarrett, the other running back. They could add another there, or at least a field goal, but they let Sentry off the hook. That will take us to the half. 35-0.
www.metroleague.org. Keep up with the Metro League.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back on the air for second half as there's 40 seconds until the third quarter resumes. And Danny, as we look back at this half, what did you notice from both sides of the football, especially Jesuits' running game?
I noticed Mikey Alfieri putting in 4 touchdowns for the Crusaders, up 35-0. These Sentry Jaguars certainly taking a beating on both sides of the ball, too.
I mean, if I'm Jesuit, or I mean, if I'm Coach Hahn, I mean, I'm looking at these offensive linemen. I'm like, you have great running backs, and that's good. But if you don't have offensive linemen, then you're screwed. I mean, you have, Trevor Pixley, Connor Thorson, and Colin Wilson are probably the 3 guys that I'd label as the main guys who are getting these holes open for Mikey Alfieri. Because, I mean, even when we put in defensive back John Walker in, he was able to get 10 yards at the end of the half. I think this is just all due to the blocking. And we were also looking at Sentry. What did you find with Sentry? How are they doing this season?
This season, Sentry has had something of a roller coaster year, going 3-2. They had a blowout win against Glencoe a couple weeks back, winning 64-6, but they followed that up with a loss last week, 13-35, and they're losing big again this week. This season has been all over the place for the Jaguars. Hopefully they can steady it soon.
I mean, I think that's all over the place, and roller coaster would be exactly what I would describe Jesuit season, as they're 2-1 right now, and looking like they were going to become 3-2-1. Sentry's coming in. You wouldn't expect this, but they're the better team, not team, but record-wise. And they're coming in 3-2, and we're coming in 2-1, and Jesuits just outplayed them, and this has got to give Coach Hahn some confidence in his team, and just to go now 3-2-1. I mean, it was an odd tie against Sheldon at 20, but I mean, I believe they could have won that game. That could put him at 4-2. I think he feels like he could have won all the games he's played so far, because they have been, close games that they've lost. I mean, they had some pretty bad ones. I mean, their first loss was 18-31 against Central. That was home here in Cronin. And then they had the blowout loss against 17-40, but I think they feel like they should have beaten Central. And watching that game, I know we didn't broadcast it, and I know many of our viewers might not have seen it, but that game against Central, they could have won. It was just some poor turnovers and a bad run defense. But, right now I feel like they're playing, like an excellent football team. They could be, 5-1, 4-2,
Yeah, we're coming down the stretch of the season here. There's only 3 games left after this one.
They're going to be playing Glencoe next at home. It's going to be a 4:30 game. And how about Sentry? Sentry's playing Westview at 6 o'clock next Thursday, October 16th. They're going to look back to bounce back, because they're coming off a blowout loss, 13-35, and both teams are coming off blowout losses. But both teams are coming up blowout losses, but Sentry's going to have to fall down to back-to-back blowout losses.
Ready to kick this half off.
Excuse me, I did have a little word with our producer. But now I'm back. Okay, so Jesuits getting the ball first, and Sentry's got to focus on getting a stop here and getting some points.
Number 3, Mikey Alfieri, and number 24, Kelly Carney Fenton, set to receive this kick here.
If I'm Sentry, I kick it away from Mikey Alfieri, I'll tell you that. As the kickoff is a short kick, and it goes to Fenton, and he'll take it, and he's at the 40, and there's some good blocking, and he gets down to the 40. The Jesuit player tackles Mikey Alfieri. Number 36.
This is the worst field position Jesuit has started a drive with.
And it's still good field position.
And they're still only 60 yards away from the end zone.
I mean, yeah, I think field position has been the difference in the game. And of course, there's been more. Of course, there's been Mikey Alfieri. But the field position, I feel, have been tremendous. And you saw Sentry was able to move the ball when they had, I mean, yes, they stalled on the 4th down, but when they had okay field position, they were able to move the ball the most. And the handoff goes to Mikey Alfieri. Some good blocking upfield. Here he goes, 50, 45, gets tackled at the 45-yard line. He had some good blockers out front, most notably number 39, Jared Dahl, the starter wide receiver, and number 76, who's not on our, sorry, number 77, Colin Winston.
Looks like Jesuits picking up right where they left off at the end of that first half.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to physically run the football and play some good football. Their Jesuits' biggest player is 6'5", as the handoff goes to Mikey Alfieri, and he'll get stuffed. Jesuits' biggest player is 6'5", Jackson Kirkland, offensive lineman. He's a sophomore, 282 pounds, 6'5", offensive lineman and defensive lineman. Be interesting to watch him, number 73. Big player for Jesuit, and I think that's another great point that Danny made earlier in the game. There's been field position, and then Jesuit's just bigger than Sentry. I think Jesuit's just bigger and better, and not necessarily better. Sorry, they're just bigger and stronger as they go back to this jumbo formation. Hand off to Mikey Alfieri, breaks a tackle in the backfield, and he puts it into positive yards. That should have been a minus 3-yard run, but Mikey Alfieri showing off his juke skills and gets a first down.
That is something, fighting through
Mikey
numbers of
Alfieri.
Jaguars.
Mikey Alfieri holding his hip as he gets up. He's a little shaken up on the play, on one knee on the sideline. In pain as the trainers are going to go look at him. Looks like he might have gotten Charlie horse or something in the thigh as they go back to the Michael Jarrett. And he's going to get the handoff. Goes to the 35, breaks a tackle, still on his feet. There he goes, down at the 12. Meanwhile, Mikey Alfieri is in a lot of pain on the sideline. Follow that storyline. He could be done for the day, regardless if he could play or not. I mean, it's like you have a big game coming up against Glencoe. You know, you get that win and you become 4-2-1, and you're gonna need Mikey Alfieri for that.
That's true. I'm sure they're not going to be willing to risk playing him when they're
Yeah,
up.
I mean,
Up by
I don't
this
think they're going to
margin.
be hesitant to not play him as the handoff goes to Michael Jarrett, and he's going to take it down to the 10-yard line. He fumbled. Sentry says they have it. As a Sentry player, Jesuit recovered. Number 39, Jared Dahl with the recovery. The running back.
Second and 10 for the Crusaders. Second and 6 for the Crusaders.
If I'm Coach Hahn right now, I'd let McGregor Potter, just quarterback number 18, air it out a little more. Not necessarily on this drive as the handoff goes to Michael Jarrett, and he'll get touchdown. Dove at the left pylon, and they say he got it. His knee was not down as Patty Clare will come out for the extra point. Patty Clare just sounds like a kicker's name, doesn't it?
Ah, sure does.
A great run by number 37, Michael Jarrett. Big back, 5'11", 182 pounds. The sophomore.
Patty Clare getting ready to kick this one. He had his first point after attempt blocked, but he's been consistent ever since.
Especially on kickoffs, and this one's going to go right through the uprights. Jesuit will take a 42-0 lead against Sentry, a blowout. We got a blowout here in Cronin Field as the shade is hitting the right side of the field. It's not as hot as it was when the game started. You know, I was sweating and I had the sun in my eyes and stuff, but it's good weather right now. I think the players are appreciating it.
Cooled down to a comfortable 70 degrees.
Yes. Danny quickly typing in the weather. As we'll get set for the kickoff.
As we glance across the field at that Sentry sideline, we notice Kyle Chimienti was injured in the first half. Might be coming back on for this next drive.
Mikey Alfieri, for those wondering, is up. He's talking to the trainer. She's asking him some questions, but he's walking around. He looks a lot better than he did because he was on his knee and he did not look, I mean, he looks fine coming off the sideline, but then he just got down on one knee, maybe perhaps cramps. I don't know if he'd get cramps in this weather, but he's talking to the trainer. He looks like he's he's a little better. He's just drinking some water and walking around, and that's he's a key component as he's laughing off at the trainer. So I think he's fine. So Jesuit fans, no worry. Mikey Alfieri is going to come back. He's an exciting running back, especially, Chase Morrison up at varsity, Mikey Alfieri is only a junior, so next year, Jesuit fans, Mikey Alfieri, that'd be a name to watch to get to varsity. I mean, Jesuit has a tradition. I don't know if I'd say tradition, but right now at least, having great running backs as Patty Clare will kick this ball off. A short kick, proceeds at the 15-yard line. Sentry player will take it at the 30, and he'll be brought down to around the 34.
Cameron Nguyen getting to about the 33-yard line before dragged down by several Jesuit Crusaders.
I mean, this JV team is pretty young. The oldest players are juniors. So everybody on this field that you're watching right now, viewers at home, could be on your varsity team next year. I mean, certainly the guys that have impressed are Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri. The other guys I'd be looking at is that offensive line. I mean, just some really key guys. Of course, Trevor Pixley, Connor Thorntonson, and Colin Wilson. Those would probably be the three guys that I would highlight. Just big guys that, could go up to varsity next year for Coach Potter, as a lot of seniors are going to leave.
True, you notice Michael Jarrett scoring a touchdown earlier. He's only a sophomore.
As Brown will bomb it deep, and that wall is, they say, no good, but Sentry says he caught it. Number 14, J.J. Perez says he had it. Brandon Howell with the pass there. Kyle Chiamenti is not coming back on the field, but they say Brandon Howell. He's listed as a running back and a linebacker, 5'9", but he has a good arm, I guess. I mean,
well, Sentry really digging deep on the bench there. They're ruined by injuries for this game.
Out of the shotgun, Brandon Howell with the man in motion. Perez, and it will go right to Perez. He's going to go right at the right end. He's going to try to cut it back behind his blockers. He's going to try to pull Mikey Alfieri and go elusive back the other way, and that will set up a 3rd and 10. A 3rd and 9, excuse me. Michael Jarrett, the key running back on the tackle. I mean, each year when seniors leave on varsity, a lot of the guys, because a lot of the guys they pick are off this JV team. So, a lot of the guys you see here are going to be on there. Guys I'd be looking at for next year, of course, would be Mikey Alfieri. I think that would be a no-brainer. I thought, I thought he should have made it this year. Number 26, the defensive back, John Walker would be another guy. As Brennan Howell, handoff. That goes nowhere. Number 44, Ty Simcoe. The running back goes nowhere, and that'll set up a 4th down. I don't understand that. I mean, I know many teams try to catch the defense off guard and 3rd down with a halfback draw, but do you get that, Danny? I mean, I feel like you just want to sling it deep.
I don't know. I guess this Sentry coach is just taking this blowout as an opportunity to work on some plays that they lean on consistently, maybe get those fundamentals down.
But, I mean, these aren't, plays that you can necessarily screw up, that as it's a good kick. Finally, they get a good kick, and this ball's not going to be returnable at the 32-yard line. I mean, you'd assume that they, maybe show out some trick plays, try it out. Not necessarily trick plays, but, just working on some play-action passes, rolling out, throwing the ball, not just line up under the back and hand it off, especially on a 3rd down. Of course you're going to have to run the football, but on a 3rd down, I don't know if I'd call a halfback draw. That's questionable, but then again, Jesuit probably would have called a run on that play.
Probably.
I mean, they've run 95% of the time. They've had about 2 passes. As Michael Jarrett is in the backfield. And he will get it. And he's going to be stopped pretty quickly. Brought about 3 yards on that play.
And up to number 43.
Shadows getting a bit longer here at Cronin Field as we enter the sunset.
They fit about the 30-yard line, so about 70 yards of shade, which is always good.
Number 11, Abe Ortega. 2nd and 7 for the Crusaders.
2nd and 7. Handoff. McGregor Potter's no longer in. It's number 82. Number 82, Trevor Blizzard.
Yeah.
It's a great name. A tight end is playing quarterback. That might have just been a coach's decision to, yes, it is, to take McGregor Potter out. I mean, I think, you know, they just don't want to get him injured. He's on the sideline talking to some other players, but he doesn't look injured or anything. I think it's like, you know, in this game, in the game of football, players are going to get injured all the time. And, you know, if you have a 42-0 lead, of course he's going to take out some star players. Mikey Alfieri's also not in. Of course, he suffered an injury earlier. As they're going to put number 26, John Walker, normally a defensive back, but he's a third-string running back, and it's going to go to him, and he has some holes, but he cannot get that same explosiveness that Mikey Alfieri has. Now some backups getting a chance to show.
4th and 10. Crusaders will bring out their special teams and punt the
7,
ball.
Yeah, they're going to punt the ball.
4th and 7.
No brainer. Patty Claire's had a great game, and this is their first punt of the game for Jesuit. That's always got to be a good sign. And with no Mikey Alfieri, no starting quarterback, McGregor Potter, I mean, when their starters win, they scored all touchdowns. I think that's a good side for Coach Jerry Hahn. There's a deep kick.
Number 20, Cameron Wynn on the return.
Cameron
getting nowhere.
Wynn will be brought down, yeah, around the 37-yard line.
Received by number 20, Cameron Wynn. Tackle by number 28, Jack Block.
I mean, of course, this game is not looking good for Sentry, but, you know, what are some things you think they should try to do to move this ball? Would you suggest throwing the ball deep, play action? I mean, what would you call? Put yourself in the hands of, put yourself in the mind of Sentry's head coach and do some play call. What would you call here?
If I'm if I'm the Sentry head coach here at the high school level, at the junior varsity level, I'd try to have some fun here. Maybe toss
Brennan
the ball
Howell
a bit
throws
like
the
they
ball,
do there.
Yeah.
You know,
Future coach Danny Begingo makes a great catch.
yeah, getting a little more creative here. That's what we like to see up in the booth here.
A nice play. They'll give him the ball at the 50-yard line. And Cameron Nguyen is injured on this play. Number 20, he's been one of their few bright spots. He's pointed at his hip. They have the trainers. The hip, Mikey Alfieri and him. I think just some hard hits as our Jesuits own trainer will come out and check him out.
Speaking of injury, we see the Sentry quarterback, the starter, Kyle Chimienti, still standing on the sideline. Doesn't look like he'll be back in the game anytime soon.
He did have the injury where he limped off the field, but it didn't look like I was going to hold him out too much. I wonder if that might have been a coach's decision, because at that point where he pulled him out, it was about 28-0. And
well, his replacement, Brennan Howell, hasn't really done much better than Chimienti did in the first quarter.
I mean, except for the fact that, you know, Brennan's had some good passes like that one, you know, 10, 15-yard passes, but Chimienti or Howell hasn't really gotten much of a chance. I mean, they're running the spread offense. They're running these you know, three receivers to the right now and out of the shotgun, but as a man comes in motion. But a lot of end arounds, a lot of runs. They're going to run it right here. Quarterback run by Brennan, and Brennan Howell will get down. Well, Brennan Howell is not listed as a quarterback. Brennan Howell is listed as a running back. So,
and he shows that running ability there.
Yeah, a lot of read options, a lot of end arounds. So he hasn't had much of a chance to show off his arm. Sentry Jaguars are listing this as a injury to Kyle Chimienti, but it doesn't look too serious. I think this was half injury, and once he's injured, it's like, why would you put him back in? You're down 35-0. And now it's, of course, 42-0. So I think it was part injury and part, you know, we're down 42-0. Don't want to risk an injury. Brandon Howell lines up with three receivers to his left and one running back to his left. Man comes in motion to his left, and he's going to run to his left. All his blockers are on the left side, and he's going to get the first down. First down for Brendan Howell. I think that's what Sentry should have tried to do, is run this ball. I mean, not necessarily just, you know, drop back and hand the ball off, but a lot of these runs. I like this. I like coming out in the spread, looking like you're going to pass it and run it. What do you think of that, Danny?
Oh, that's well done there. They're really being creative, have a lot of sweeps, have a lot of movement in the backfield, and I think it's throwing the Jesuit defense off here. They're making some progress.
And a reminder, after this game, Jesuit's varsity soccer team will be taking on Westview at 7 p.m. on this field at Cronin. So
stay tuned to JCTV for our coverage of
stick
that.
around after this game, getting a chance to look at Jesuit's future varsity players. As the handoff goes to Brendan Howell, and they're going to do an end around.
Not working there. He's still on his feet.
Perez still on his feet, but they're going to mark forward progress. Not just future players, but perhaps some future JCTV members right here, JCTV commentators, and producers. We're all kind of young here.
You're certainly getting the JV squad here of announcers.
Thomas and Jake do such a good job at varsity that, you know.
Oh, of course.
You know. As there's about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Jesuit leading 42-0. Second 11. Ball on Jesuit's 39-yard line. As a QB change has been made, Brendan Howell's QB change was made around midway through the second quarter. As the handoff goes to Perez, and he's still on his feet. And gets about 3 yards. You know, it's been such a good game for Jesuit. It's hard to find stuff they haven't done well. But they have not passed the ball well. I mean, they haven't thrown the ball well. I mean, they haven't thrown the ball at all, but like.
No complete passes for Jesuit today.
Yeah, well, no, they had the conversion. They had one conversion.
Oh, true.
But I don't know if that counts as a
surprising everyone by going for two and
the one
tossing
time
the
you
ball.
think they would run it on the 2-yard line on the conversion to make up for the missed extra point. Yeah, I mean, you haven't gotten much of a chance. You know, of course, McGregor Potter's stat line, you know, isn't pretty. They're a ground and pound team. He's been a bit of a game manager, and that's working for Jesuit. You know, a game manager, you know, that's looked as a derogatory term towards quarterbacks as Brendan Howell gets swatted at the line. You know, not a good term for quarterbacks, but it's like they're winning 42-0. Game manager is what's working for Jesuit. That's all they need. They need a guy to hand it off to Mikey Alfieri.
4th and 9 for the Jaguars.
And it looks like they will go for it.
They will go for it. I'm not sure I agree with that.
You punt the ball and give it to Jesuit on their own 10. Oh, no, they will punt it. What am I saying? And interesting to see who they have out there instead of Mikey Alfieri. He's not playing. That is number
24, Kellen Carney Fenton.
Yes, he is their second string. Oh, no, they're going to pass it. He was back there ready for the punt, but they are going to go for it. Okay.
Interesting decision here.
Well, they have the deep guy back for the punt, but he's going to just play a deep safety. As Brennan's going to try to run it. He's got to throw it. He's got to. Oh, breaking sacks.
Staying on his feet.
Interception. No, there they go. Jesuit at the 50, 45, 40. Cuts it back inside. He has some blockers. 35 down to the 20, 22-yard line.
Sam Denny, number 15 for Jesuit, coming up big on the interception.
A bad pass by Brendan Howell, but a great effort. I mean, he broke some sacks. Jesuit should have had him back, but he broke the sacks, and, you know, at that point, he got rid of the ball too quickly. He's like, if that was a second down, he would have thrown that away, and we would have complimented that play. But, you know, on a 4th down, he has to go somewhere. And so he just threw it to the first receiver he saw.
And really, I questioned the decision to go for it from the Jaguars. You got a nice punt there. Put the Crusaders inside their 10. They haven't been anywhere near there.
But what do you gain from that? Because I feel like if Jesuit gets the ball at their own 15 and they don't do anything, you just get the ball right back.
And I think a defensive stop would do wonders for this.
I do agree with that.
This Jaguar team.
That would give them some
confidence.
They've
had troubles blocking this run.
As number 26, John Walker, known as a defensive back, but the third, Johnny Walker. Got around 4 yards. He's known as a defensive back. That is where his specialty is. If you watch him on the play, I mean, of course there haven't been many passes in this game. This game has been a very, I don't want to say boring, but, you know.
Mature.
Mature. That would be a 1960s type football, just running it up the middle, you know, with fullbacks and stuff. It hasn't been very exciting. You haven't gotten to see John Walker's full skill set, but he is one of the top corners and safety that you could have defensive backs. And it goes to John Walker, and there he goes. Touchdown, Crusaders. John Walker.
Number 26.
No flags on the field. John Walker. Touchdown, Crusaders, 5'9".
Up to 48-0.
pounds. The sophomore, John Walker. as the Sentry fans have quieted down quite a bit. All the touchdowns, all 7 touchdowns have been runs.
Kicking the extra point for Jesuit.
4 for Mikey Alfieri, 1 for Michael Jarrett, and then 1 for John Walker here. But as I was saying, as the
Patty
kick is
Clare with a line drive.
Kick is up. and
Beautiful
the
kick.
Is good.
That's
Yes, that was-
49-0 to the Crusaders.
Yes, 49-0 with a minute and 32 seconds left in the third. As Jesuits got to be happy with this right now. I mean, I feel like this is just a solid win. They rested well. I feel, as I said earlier, it's the weekend, no school tomorrow, so I feel like they played relaxed. They played, not worrying about homework, not worrying about anything, just coming out and playing football as the Shadows have taken over the entire field. They're coming out and playing football, and that's what they came here to do.
It's been a complete performance from the Crusaders, both on offense and defense.
Yes, I would agree with that. Minus the passing game. We can make fun of Coach Hahn for not passing the ball all we want, but, it's working. 49-0, and not even close. Sentry hasn't even shown any signs of life. And if you're Sentry right now, you've got to be thinking, got to get some points on the board here. I mean, I know you're not going to win this game right now. I mean, it's not looking like it. I mean, we've seen some pretty crazy things, but a 49-point comeback in the fourth quarter would be the greatest ever. But, but I think you just got to get some points on the board. Give your team a little confidence, because if you get shut out by 7 touchdowns, that really puts, a bad drift on your season.
Very true.
They'll fall to 3-3 after this game, and Jesuit will improve to 3-2-1.
We see the lanky kicker for Jesuit, Patty Clare. 6 feet tall and listed at just 130 pounds. That is something.
A junior, and he will kick it off. A good kick, I guess, as Brendan Howell, the quarterback, returning it 30, 35, 40. I think that's one of the first few times you'll ever see a quarterback return punts and kicks and play on some defense, and a linebacker, a running back, a quarterback, and returns kicks. It's a versatile guy.
If you're joining us late, this game has been Jesuit from the start, up 49-0.
Ground and pound attack by Jesuit. I mean, it has been just turn around and hand the ball off to Mikey Alfieri. He's going to be, in my mind, a great player for, Coach Potter's got to be looking at this game as for next year is like, this guy we got to have, because I feel like he should be on varsity right now. As quarterback Brendan Howell handed off to Perez, and Perez, takes
Perez
a hard
taken
hit.
down
Great
hard.
hit.
14, Perez.
J.J. Perez was tackled. That was number 15.
That was number 25, Dominic Liu for Jesuit, with a great wrap-up.
It was Sam Denny.
It was Sam Denning?
Oh, it was both of them.
Yeah, it was
We just said different ones.
little teamwork there for the Crusaders.
Well, the announcer over the stadium said Sam Denny, and then he said, just a little confusion. But we were both right, I guess. Sam Denny, I think, laid the last hit. Could have been called for helmet-to-helmet, but a hard hit. J.J. Perez, who's been some of their bright spots. I think, a Sentry, you haven't had too many, as Brendan Howell's out of the shotgun with even receivers. Number 11 comes in motion. He fumbles the snap, and he's going to have to run it. QB draw. I disagree with this play calling. I don't like this play calling. I don't want to criticize, but it's like you're down 49-0 as the third quarter will come to an end with about 3 seconds left, and it's running 2-1, and the horn will go off. 49-0 as we head into the fourth quarter. But I really don't like this play calling right now. I feel like calling a quarterback draw was not the best call, but I feel they should air the ball out. But Jesuit has some great defensive backs, so maybe they're a little scared. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jesuit's just been handing the ball off to Mikey Alfieri, who has 3 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns, excuse me. 1 touchdown for Michael Jarrett, and the other touchdown for John Walker, all running backs.
And all running is what we've seen this afternoon. Jesuit having just one passing play.
What would you choose as the highlight of the game? I think it's between the Mikey Alfieri 50-yard run or the punt return. I'd probably go with the punt return. That would be my choice. I think that cutback was really good. How about you?
Yeah, I like that Alfieri run from earlier. He broke through the Jaguars' defense, and that really changed the game. That was when Jesuit really set this game to bed.
That gave him the 21-0 lead. I think I agree with both.
Just a reminder to the Sentry
I mean,
as
he
well as the Jesuit
had some blockers, but he looks like he was going to go down at around the
broadcast
35.
live on jctv.com. Just go to the jesuitportland.org website and click on JCTV if you'd like to view this game after this game. Thank you.
Start of the third quarter here.
Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter. Time just flying
We're
by.
working out some kinks here as our first JV game. First time commentators for both of us. Danny Begingo and Ben Blessington here. As Brendan Howell's out of the shotgun. With the man coming in motion. Handoff goes misdirection to J.J. Perez, and he'll get around, second effort, gets 8 yards, close to the first down.
Special thanks to our camerawoman, Johanna Parker, and our producer, Alex Schuler.
And then another cameraman on the field, John Keller, for JCTV. They've done a great job today. You know, it's been exciting today. I think the MVP of the game is no doubt Mikey Alfieri, but if you're giving out game balls, I give one to the offensive line and I give one to Mikey Alfieri. I feel like he set some blocks really nice, especially on that 50-yard run. You thought when you saw it, he'd probably get 15 yards at the most, but he just kept running.
Yeah,
those offensive linemen held their blocks, and he showed off his speed.
These Jesuit backs have been able to burst through the defense. See if they can do it here.
As Brendan Howell's out of the shotgun with 3 receivers to his left, out of the pistol formation. It's a newer formation, but a lot of high schools have adapted it. Apparently Jesuit has not, as there's a flag on the field.
Flag on the play.
Looks like it's on Sentry. Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. I feel like the coach of Sentry, Sentry's coach was trying to call a timeout, but he could not get it off. Or maybe he just wasn't aware. That'll set up a 4th and 2.
That's disappointing. Even when you're down big like this, it's important to stay disciplined and manage the game correctly.
Excuse me, I think that will make it 4th and 7. Yes, it is indeed. It is a 4th and 7. I don't understand that. I feel like, maybe the ref didn't hear him, but 4th and 2 is a lot different than 4th and 7. 4th and 2 is manageable. You can run a QB sneak. You can hand it off to J.J. Perez.
Sentry.
You know what I've noticed from Sentry is they always have a man in motion. Not always, but they generally like to have a man in motion.
Have a lot of movement on that offense.
As the handoff goes to J.J. Perez, misdirection, and he'll get the first down and more, down to the 36-yard line.
Clever play from the Jaguars.
They don't use the misdirection, and they get a 20-yard run.
Taken down by number 16, Jonathan Krause, and number 20.
I think Jesuit's defense wants this shutout. They're getting into it. They want to hold this shutout, but, at the same time, they've won the game, so, or don't get too confident, but,
Coach Jerry Hahn still pacing the sideline. Wants to make sure that his defense plays this game to the finish.
Yeah, you don't want to give up too early. There's 10 minutes and 27 seconds left in the game, 49-0. It's been a great game on both sides of the ball for Jesuit. Meanwhile, Sentry struggled to move the ball as a little miscommunication on Sentry. As they're going to run there's a flag on the play. Brendan Howell takes it down to the 24-yard line, but there's a flag, so this looks like this might be coming back.
Brendan Howell pushed out of bounds by number
Penalty on Sentry. That play will go back.
We've seen 6 or 7 penalties on the Jaguars and nothing called on the Crusaders today.
Undisciplined play by Sentry so far. These flags have been unacceptable. The one, they were fortunate that they got the 4th and 7, but a 4th and 2 is different than a 4th and 7. So that will create a 1st and 15 now. on Jesuits 42.
From Sentry, they've been able to hold on to the ball for quite a while.
Three receivers to the right and pistol formation as J.J. Perez comes in motion. It will go to him, and he'll get the ball and more. There he goes, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15. J.J. Perez. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of bright spots for Sentry, but J.J. Perez definitely would be one of them.
Certainly. Matthew Kilpatrick for Jesuit, saving the Crusaders from giving up a touchdown.
They want the shutout. 1st and 10 on Jesuits 15 inside. First time they're inside Jesuits red zone. I think the fumble on the first drive really set the set the tone for the game.
It's gone all downhill from there for the Jaguars. This is the first time they've really been producing offensively. And it looks like there's another flag.
Another flag on Sentry. Many Sentry fans might be like, unfair play calling, but I mean, Jesuits played a clean game so far. And I mean, of course, there's always going to be penalties that are uncalled, and of course, Sentry has been, getting noticed, but they played undisciplined. I mean, some of that falls on the coaching, some of that falls on just the players not executing. And of course, when you're down by a lot, you're not as into the game. And I feel like if this was a closer game, they wouldn't be as, undisciplined as there's J.J. Perez comes into motion, and they'll go to him. And he'll still on his feet down to the 15-yard line. Gets around 5 yards. They'll set up a 2nd and 10. But J.J. Perez would be my bright spot for Sentry. Not a whole lot of them, but, I mean, J.J. Perez and I guess Brennan Howell. I mean, he hasn't done much at quarterback, but he's done, I guess a running back is at quarterback, I guess, as you would do it. He had the good kickoff. He had the good kick return, took him down to like the 50-yard line.
It's been serviceable from Brennan Howell, taking the place of starter Chiamenti after an early injury.
But I don't think that was all injury. I think part of it was, yeah, he's injured, but I think the other part was, he hasn't played well, and we're down 28, so it's like, why put him in and risk an injury?
Was struggling at the start of this game. That is true.
Brennan Howell with the QB draw, and he'll go nowhere, and that will set up a 3rd down and around 9. They're going to stick a 3rd down and 10. Never mind. Not even a yard. Jesuit's stout run defense. You have to give credit to this defensive line. They have been winning the trenches. I think that would be, 3 keys to the game right now have been Jesuit winning the trenches, especially offensive line and defensive line. I think their defensive line has bullied Sentry's offensive line, and their offensive line, Jesuit's offensive line, has bullied Sentry's defensive line. I mean, other keys would just be their running backs. For sure have been their keys to the game. Run the football. They accomplished that. Mikey Alfieri, as J.J. Perez will get the end around, and he will cut it upfield, and he will not get the first down.
Not quite getting to the
I think if you're Sentry, you go for this. I mean, as much as you don't want to get shut out, I feel like J.J. Perez can get this. Can get a first down. It set up a 4th and 3.
Looks like they might be going for this instead of taking the field goal.
I wouldn't take the field goal here. You're down 49, and it's like, as there's 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, a 4th and 3, and I feel like they can get this. As much as they don't want to get shut out, I feel like they can get this. And the other key was just to stop Sentry's running attack, and they've done that. Or excuse me, Sentry. Oh, another flag, and this is going to be on Sentry. It's on Sentry. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. That'll set up a 4th and 8. Interesting to see if Sentry will send out their kicker. Does not look like it is. Their coach is talking to Brennan Howell. Brennan Howell's going to stay on the field. Excuse me, I messed up on the 3rd key that they had to accomplish. Their 3rd key was to defend Sentry's passing attack, and there has been much of one, and, part of that could be to their coverage. I mean, Sentry's been calling a lot of running plays, but, you know, I feel like they've stopped the run. I mean, stopped the pass that pretty well when they did do it. Out of the pistol. I feel like this is Sentry's favorite formation. As a man will come in motion, first pass.
Going play action. Can he get to the first down marker?
And so they're going to bring out the chains for this one, I would assume.
That is very close.
Yeah, it all depends on the spot. They're going to say he didn't get it. Are they going to bring out the change? They say they didn't get it.
That is Jesuit football. Turnover on
I would have brought out
downs.
the chains.
Well, you're right. That feels a little cruel to the Jaguars here.
But we're not on the field. I feel like if they saw it, you know. But I would have brought out the chains just to be sure. But, you know, at the same time, for Sentry, it's like you have Jesuit pinned. Perhaps a safety. Be an odd way to get your points, but, you know.
Let's see how the Jesuit offense can do when they're not right up next to the end zone.
As the handoff goes to number 26, John Walker, and he'll get an extra push.
I'm sure Coach Jerry Hahn will be pleased about the score staying 49-0 for the Crusaders.
As there's 5 minutes and 15 seconds and counting remaining in the fourth quarter, as Jesuit leads 49-0. The handoff will go about for 3 or so yards, and that will set up 3rd and 1. Approximately 3rd and 2. They're going to mark it 3rd and 2. They're going to mark him a little short.
Handoff to number 83, Kobe Norton.
Kobe Norton on the carry there. As Jesuit will go right back to him. Kobe, the new running back. He's their 4th running back that's played so far. They had, of course, Mikey Alfieri. Then they had Michael Jarrett. And then John Walker took over for most of the 3rd and most of the 4th. And now they're going to play Kobe Norton. 83 is their 4th stringer. He's going to play. As Jesuit will be forced to punt on the 4th and 2. J.J. Perez, Sentry's few bright spot. Back to return. Be interesting to see this punt here. 2nd punt of the game for Jesuit, but then again, they did take out all their starters. Close to a block by Sentry. Good punt. Great catch by J.J. Perez as he calls for a fair catch, and Sentry will get a chance to not get shut out on Jesuit's 45. It's going to come down to this drive.
Time is starting to become an issue, though, for the Jaguars. They need to score soon.
Not that they can win it, but just for self-confidence and going into the next game. They have a big game next week, and it's like 49-0. Yeah, pride. I think pride is on the line. 49-0 is a lot different than 49-3 or 49-7. Not just on like the scoreboard, but more in a team's mentality.
Of course. They're going into some important games these last few weeks of the season.
Yes, I agree. Brennan House, some miscommunication, little confusion. There's going to be a timeout called by Sentry. As both teams will huddle up and discuss the game plan for the remaining 3.5 minutes left.
I'm sure most of these Jaguars are looking next week to an important game against Westview on October 16th. That's one day before my birthday, Ben. Are you going to get me a cake?
I'll get you a cake just for that game, just for Sentry's High School's game.
Oh, that's rad.
Everybody wish Danny Bagingo, that's a great last name. Happy birthday as the timeout is taken with 3:27 left. The 1st and 10. A little pride on the line for Sentry.
Let's hear it for your Crusader cheerleaders.
Meanwhile, a women's soccer game is going on behind us. Behind the field in the back. You can't really see it, but is that JV or JV2?
That is not women's soccer. That's actually the men's varsity soccer team.
They're warming up directly, but over there.
Oh, over there. Let me get out our special binoculars here.
Huge. Yes, directly behind them, though, there is the men's varsity warming up for tonight's game at 7 o'clock. You should stay on JCTV because we got a very interesting game going up against Westview. It's going to be a good game. Jesuit's varsity soccer team is good, and I mean really good. I had the opportunity to produce a game a couple weeks ago, and they won, I think 4-1, and that was a great game. As Brennan Howell trots back off, JJ Perez in motion. He's going to run to the right, and Jesuit read it, but they don't have the speed to catch him. Brennan Howell breaks some tackles, gets the first.
Excellent run from Brennan Howell. He certainly is showing his talent as a running back, even though he's filling in at quarterback today.
He is listed as a running back, and he returns kicks. That's been their go-to play call is Brennan Howell running on the side that JJ Perez goes in motion. I think Jesuit's starting to read it. When JJ Perez, if they have a 3-receiver set to one side, JJ Perez is on the other, he goes to that side, and Brennan Howell runs to that side. And it's works because they have 4 blockers outside. As Danny kills a bug. I was flying around us. Brennan Howell out of the pistol formation with 2 receivers to the right. Play action, great play fake, and he's going to run it up and get the first. That was a great play action play. I really liked that. I thought he went one hand, had the other hand free. I thought that was, they should have done more of that game, more of that type of style. You know, play action, roll out, you know, get some dink yardage, you know, throwing it 5 yards down the field.
Jaguars really coming alive these last couple minutes of the game. Wish they could have done this a little earlier and a little more often.
Though they are going up against Jesuit's backups.
True. As the floodlights come on here at Cronin Field, it's turning into a beautiful sunset tonight. Make sure you stay tuned for our men's varsity soccer game under these very same lights on this very field later tonight.
As the handoff goes to JJ Perez, and he's still on his feet. Ooh. It's a nice second effort, and they'll get him the first down with about 1:37. I guess they're in field goal range, so they could end the shutout. The decision will be, will they, or they go for the touchdown? Part of me says they'll kick the field goal if they don't get it, but
we're under 90 seconds left in this game. Jaguars hoping to get on the board.
So we got a little excitement. We'll have some excitement here as there's 3 receivers. Now watch JJ Perez. He's going to go in motion to the right. Let's see if he goes in motion to the right. No, it's not going to be Perez. It's going to be number 11, and they're going to run to that side. As Brennan Howell might get the touchdown, he will. Touchdown, Sentry. They get on the board as 59 seconds.
6 consolation points for the Sentry Jaguars.
It took them 59 minutes, but they finally got in the end zone.
It was an impressive drive, too. Working down the field in a hurry.
Yeah, I think that was, I mean, undoubtedly their strongest drive of the game. But, you know, I feel like, though going up against Jesuit's backups, I feel that gives them some confidence for the remaining, for next week's game. You know, losing 49-0 would have been a huge heartbreaker. And this is still a heartbreaker, losing by about 42 points, which is soon to be a little less, soon to be 42, sorry. But, you know, it's still a heartbreaker. Actually, they're going to go for 2. What am I saying? They're going to go for 2 out of the pistol formation. Why not? Handoff goes to Perez. He's got the end. Does he have it? No, he's tackled about the 1-yard line. Looks like 49-6 will be our final score. But, you know, wait, what am I saying? We got a minute left. Jesuit, you know, I think these backups, you know, they're still going to hand it off. But
yeah, earlier we saw Jesuit return a kick and put it right in the end zone.
So this game's might not be over. Jesuit might be able to hit the 50 points. The coveted 50 points that they want.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that after this game, we have the men's varsity soccer featuring the Jesuit Crusaders versus the Westview Wildcats. Stick around. Should be a great game.
What have you seen from this game, Danny, that you really liked? I mean, on both sides of the football, I think the theme has been running the football, but, you know, what have you seen that you liked a particular player? Mikey Alfieri. Can't say Mikey Alfieri.
Of course. You really
somebody that you wouldn't expect to hear. Just
you've really got to appreciate JJ Perez in this 4th quarter. He's come alive. He's led a drive. He's put the Jaguars in the end zone. Even though this game's far out of reach, you can appreciate a player working hard.
Yeah, I think he definitely gets the Jaguars game ball, even though they're going to lose by about 43. They're going to lose by 43, but possibly more, as actually an onside kick might be coming. He has definitely been the player of this fourth quarter, and perhaps that will give him a bigger role next week. J.J. Perez should be a guy to watch if you're a Sentry fan, as a guy to look out for next week. A Sentry will be tempting
Joel Semmingson.
Joel Semmingson will be tempting onside kick, probably. No, he's going to just kick it deep. Why not? I think Alfieri's back in. And there it goes. No, that was not Mikey Alfieri. Excuse me, sorry.
Number
that was
nine.
Number 9.
Matthew Kilpatrick on the return.
I need to look at the binoculars when I call out a player. Yes, Mikey Alfieri was done for the game around the third quarter. 4 touchdowns. I think if he played, he probably would have had about 6. I mean, I think that's safe to say. He was just explosive from the start. The punt return, the 50-yard run, and just really sparking this Jesuit offense. I mean,
that 1-2 punch of Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri in the first half really built up the lead that you're going to see on your scoreboard here.
Coach Hahn told us those were the 2 players to watch. They said, watch out for Michael Jarrett and Mikey Alfieri, the 2 running backs, and they were right. They predicted it, and they knew they were going to be a big part of their game plan, as Jesuit will just take a knee and go on to win 49-6, victory formation. They might have to kneel one more time, but victory formation for Jesuit, as they're going to cruise to an easy victory against Sentry. A well-fought game for Jesuit. They've got to be excited, you know, for next week. They've got to be excited for next week against Glencoe. I mean, coming off a huge confidence booster as the clock will strike 0. 49-6, Jesuit will beat Sentry.
And that's the end of today's ball game.
I think the 2 MVPs on Jesuit side, the one MVP on Jesuit side is undoubtedly Mikey Alfieri. A guy, if you're watching and looking forward to varsity football, he's a guy that you're going to watch. He's only a junior, so next year.
He's not the biggest player, coming in at 150 pounds, but boy, was he shifty today, racking up 4 touchdowns and really pulling these Crusaders up to a victory.
And if you're a Sentry Jaguars fan, you got to look forward to J.J. Perez next week. I mean, he's very explosive. He's definitely the player of the game for the fourth quarter. And don't forget to stay on JCTV, because in about 25 minutes we got men's varsity soccer coming on, so just stay tuned. That's going to be a good game. Our varsity soccer team is very good here at Jesuit High, and they're about to trot onto the field as soon as the players get off, as the players will celebrate.
As they finish exchanging high fives, some smiles on the Jesuit faces, a few frowns at Sentry. It's been an interesting afternoon.
Many Jesuit players, a reminder, many Jesuit players wearing pink sleeves, pink gloves, and pink socks, raise awareness for breast cancer. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, and they're doing a good job raising awareness, as they will take their kneel and have a little huddle around Coach Hahn.
Thank you for joining us for this fabulous JV football game at JCTV First. We'll see you next week.
I'm Ben.